Welcome, everyone, to It's Time to Excel. We are so glad that you have chosen to join us today. And this is just your time as well as ours. And that's the cool thing because our ultimate goal, as you know, every week when we come in here is simply to help you to excel because it is time to excel. And joining forces together and being able to support one another is how we're going to do that. So we are so grateful that you have opted to join us, whether you're live or whether you're on the replay. Either way is great. Go ahead and put some comments in there because we do love to see them. And I am just honored today. I am so honored today that I have my friend Kim Niskey that has joined us. And she's going to be talking to us a little bit about something that's pretty important, especially to small business owners. And what would that be? Well, without clients, sometimes it's a little hard to run a business successfully. I always talk about the money. I'm always talking about that, but you got to have some clients coming in to put the money into the pocket so you can spend it. So this is a great opportunity for us to talk and really to make sure your clients know how much you value them. But a little bit about Kim. So Kim Niskey is a business growth catalyst and relationship builder. She is known as the connector and the visionary in the Triangle area. She's actually had over 15 years of successful business experience and development. As this development director for the Gardner Chamber of Commerce, she was nationally ranked #1 for new member sales in the same chamber tier in 2020 by the American Chamber of Commerce. As a senior sales representative for the Raleigh Chamber for over 6 years, Kim was actually able to generate over $850,000 in revenue. She recruited over 1,200 new members and was nationally ranked #10 for the Chamber new member sales by the ACC in 15, 16, and the new representative in the years of 13, 14. I could just go on and on here. It's just going to keep on going. It's just amazing what those compliments are. And of course, there's Gizzy. He's going to welcome you as well. He's all excited for you as well that you have come to join us. And what Kim's gift has always been is she's gained 70% of those new clients annually through client referrals and networking. And that is impressive. And she's ranked a network of over 6,500 network business professionals in the Triangle area. Awesome. As you guys are saying, please feel free to comment. We have some folks on live, so we just love your comments. But basically what we're going to do, she has keys to success, and she's going to share some of those. She has keys to success because she's going to find out what those needs of her clients are. And she's going to stay informed about the community and the networking at every opportunity. And for those that you know, Kim, we know that this is absolutely the truth. So just to keep the eyes on, because we know sometimes it's hard to take some notes, especially if you're on your phone. So we would like to encourage you to take advantage. There's going to be a recap with some bullet points that Kim will be glad to share with you and actually send that out to. So you don't have to take quite as many notes. Just let us know your name and your email address. Simply drop it in the chat and we'll make sure that you get copies of those bullet points. So it saves you a little bit of time and then you can have them for future references. And just if you have any questions there, for you're watching on the video, you can email Kim directly. You can email myself directly and just say customer success recap. Just drop that in there, customer success recap. And I'm going to drop that in there as well. And just put that in the subject line. And we'll make sure that you can actually, great, thank you, Melinda. We've got a couple of those coming in here. So that'll be there. And I'm going to drop Kim's information in here momentarily. And that way you will have it. And we encourage you, reach out, take full advantage of Kim and her expertise. And we're just so honored and welcome that you are here today with us. So, Kim, I'm going to turn on to you because, it is really important because we need to make sure our clients know how much we value them. And sometimes that gets lost a little bit occasionally. So let me ask you this. Why, tell me a little bit, if there's anything I should add, but let's think about this. Why is it so important? Why is it critical to your growth that your clients know that you value them?
Oh, well, first of all, Janet, thanks so much for asking me to be a guest on this. You just have such great nuggets of information on these different weekly events. So I hope those that are joining for the first time will return.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So critical, absolutely critical. And I think some of those might have found that out last year, how critical it was. because to me, losing a client costs in money and time and potential referrals. Harvard Business Review says it can cost 5 to 25 times more to acquire new customers than it does to retain and upsell existing ones.
Wow.
And I know you do the math really well. So that's registering with you, I'm sure. And it also, I'm not sure if people have thought about it as much, but it increases the revenue. So receiving the referrals, they're often given when people are proactively reaching out to their clients. They don't always think about giving those referrals, but when they're proactively reached out to, they're thinking, oh, somebody else needs to use your service, right? That I know. More leads are generated when clients are happy with the services. They tend to want to talk up that company to those they know voluntarily, right? So you can't, no PR from a company can top that. When when it's a buzz going out there and they're saying, I love this company, you need to be, using them as well. More leads are generated. Loyalty buying. So if you're happy, if your clients are happy and there are other things that they can purchase, or it's a subscription based and they want to stay a subscription, upsell opportunities, that loyalty buying probably isn't going to happen maybe if we're not reaching out to those clients.
That's true.
Bain and Company says a 5% increase in customer retention can increase profits by 25%.
Wow.
So if we say we don't have time to talk to our existing clients, I'm not sure we can afford not to take that time to talk to those existing
Exactly.
clients, right? I think that's yeah. So yeah, it's critical in my opinion.
And I would agree completely. Absolutely. Because you've laid out some great statistics there. And just a small change, what a huge difference that can make. That could be the determining factor of whether or not you are open tomorrow in some cases, if you're not making sure that things are going. And as you pointed out, that is just, it's incredible when you start taking a step back and thinking about that. So when you're talking about the term that's used for proactive process of letting a client know their business values them, there's that term. It's a proactive process of letting the client know. Help us understand how that all kind of interweaves through this.
So I think the newest term for it is customer success management, and I love it. I love it because we're going to talk later about how that relates to the clients themselves in a different way. But right now, customer success management, I'd like to use the Wikipedia definition. So I'm going to read it because I don't think you were supposed to paraphrase Wikipedia. So
probably not.
let me share that definition. They're saying it's a business method that ensures customers achieve success, their desired outcomes while using your product or service.
Okay.
It is relationship-focused client management that aligns client and vendor goals for mutually beneficial outcomes. So the goal of customer success is to make the customer as successful as possible, which in turn improves customer lifetime value for the company. So if I'll repeat that if that's okay with you, Janet.
Absolutely, because I've got the goal.
I'd be like, what did she say?
Yeah, and I can't type that fast.
So Wikipedia's definition, a business method that ensures customers achieve success, their desired outcomes while using your product or service. Customer success is relationship-focused client management that aligns, love this, aligns client and vendor goals for mutually beneficial outcomes. The goal is to make the customer as successful as possible, which in turn improves customer lifetime value. Forbes says in a very recent article, leaders must shift from a mindset designed solely for their own profit to a plan designed to help their clients profit.
Profit's my world. I'm always talking about that. Awesome.
If we're not reaching out to the clients and the customers,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know, unless we have telepathy,
A
how
crystal
do
ball.
we know how we can help, design to help the clients profit. So that's what I love about that customer success definition.
Absolutely. And that's phenomenal. And I don't think we could say it any better. In trying to paraphrase it, we would probably take away from it.
That's why I read it verbatim.
I don't blame you. And I said I couldn't type, but I did key you a couple of nuggets, and we just appreciate that because we do have to align with our clients and goals. You can't really track your money. Like that's what I share a lot of times with. We get those systems in place, and it's fabulous. But the only problem is if you don't have the clients, you don't have much money to work with. So it is a group effort, shall we call it? It's an all-inclusive circle that
Well,
all works together.
and those who want the recap, I'm going to put that
Oh,
verbatim on that
perfect.
recap, so that'll help them. Yep.
Awesome. And I see a couple of emails coming in there, so make sure that you guys drop your emails in there for us so we can make sure that you get that. And that way you will have it there, so something that you can refer to. And it's a great goal for us because we do want to have those things aligned for our businesses because that's where our success comes from. And this is why we're in business, is to serve our clients. So we need to make sure our clients know how much we do value them because they are the vital part, they're our lifeblood of going forward. So since we're talking about this client success management stuff, when should I get it started?
So this is my personal opinion because of my experience out there. I believe it actually starts during the purchase process.
Okay.
That's when I believe it starts, because would you, and maybe the ones that are watching, I think maybe you'd agree, when the client tends to set their expectations about their future experience with the company during that process. So to me, the customer success management, the client retention, if you will, that needs to start during the purchase process. Then you'd want to make sure, and they might want to put in the chat if they agree with me.
Yes, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. They're agreeing with you. It does start with the purchase process.
And then,
And Cindy?
to me, you want to make sure that, and I'm going to call it onboarding process. I believe that's a general enough term for everyone's products and services that they sell. You want to make sure the onboarding process, or if there is a handoff of the client to someone else in your company, that it goes as smooth and proactively as possible so as to affirm or discuss the client's expectations.
Okay.
Because let's say a client might have higher expectations, the perception is, and let's make sure that we're all on the same page and that we can, we're going to be able to deliver them with a maximum. And so that depends. So to me, that is all about making sure we all are talking and realizing there are things that that we do, that we specialize in, that maybe someone else might do better, that they're talking about, whatever that might be. So with that, also think about this. Doesn't that also start them thinking about how can we help their clients profit? Doesn't that start that process? Because it's all about them, right? It's being a servant to the client.
Yeah.
As far as the servant mindset, right? So that's when I think it should start. And that's why I think that's when it should start.
And that's an absolute excellent point. And that's something that I bring up too, is even when you're talking about your finances and money management and all that fun stuff, I always say we have to have a strong foundation. And that's exactly what you're talking about. It's building that strong foundation for your clients. And it's building that foundation right from the beginning, making sure those expectations are known. Because how often do things go wrong because somebody misunderstood the other one? Or they didn't have the same expectations. Personally, I've run into that way too many times. So I try really hard not to, but we're all guilty of it. At least I am. I know I can't speak for other people. I can speak for me. I mess up. I'm human. I mess up. But it's being honest, and I'm always a firm believer, is like by setting those expectations out there. And Barbara's even saying too, what can you expect there when she purchased a new car, and the salesman, car salesman, absolutely did a good job making sure what those expectations were. And I think it's important no matter what we're doing, and that is just absolutely vital to that.
Well, and in the handoff, the person that it's being handed off to also needs to be knowing what that page is, right?
That's an absolutely good point. And I think sometimes that's where sometimes the ball gets dropped, shall we call it. And it's easy enough to do because I'm thinking, oh, well, doesn't this make sense to you? Well, maybe or maybe not, because I may view it or I may hear it differently. And when I turn it over to the next person, maybe I've turned over an incorrect assumption. And that happens. So it is a vital just to communicate, novel concept, communicate, and just be open with folks and honest with them. And I mean, people that know me know I tend to throw things out on the table. I'm like, I'm very transparent. I mean, and I'm human. I do the best I can, and I think that's exactly what you're saying. Is we're doing the best we can by putting those expectations clearly. So, thinking about that, so we know we got them started. We know that we get them started pretty much right from the beginning, right when we first make that connection. So, what does the client need from a business if they want to stay a client? So what do you think the needs are? What are the clients looking for? If I want that loyalty, how do I build up that loyalty?
So what does the client need from a business to want to stay a client?
Yeah, to be a loyal client. How do we get them to do that?
So timely response to their questions and issues, like I have that as my number one. Like that's, we can't, when it's an urgent matters, like immediate feedback. And so to me, it's making sure that there's a process in place, or the clients, if they have a couple ways to get us, like if there's a, text us if it's urgent, whatever that might be. And then the non-urgent matters, if somebody's talking to me in the morning, I'd say the same day. That response should really come the same day.
Okay.
Because some of those that they're something that they're asking about, perhaps one of our perceived competitors could field that. Okay. So, if it's in the afternoon or night, I think by end of business the next day, I believe is the courtesy out there. Mm-hmm. Some of them that know me, I like to just get, answer as soon as I can. So mm-hmm. I do it a little differently, but I think those are good rules to follow by. And author Donald Miller says, the only thing constituents care about is how your organization can solve their problems. Again, it's all about the client, right?
Yeah.
And then another need, I just listened to a fabulous, I'm just going to kind of plug this a little bit. I just listened to a fabulous, workshop. It was a day workshop by a local author, Kevin White. So I definitely suggest, if people want to ask me about that further, or Barbara Hemphill, you can ask her too, because she hosted it. But he said, make it easy for them to do business. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about all those 800 numbers and all those queues, and did I answer the right one to get in the right queue and all of that, right? Make it easy for them to do business, right? So we know some of a large retailer out there that's on the internet that does that well, right? Reduce the weight by providing self-sufficient tools.
Okay. That's a great point.
And they don't want to feel just like a number. They want to be checked in with periodically. Hello, I'm over here, right? We'd want to honor their commitment, our commitments. I mean, that is a biggie. Absolutely. If we're saying a deadline, what we need to do, I believe it's called, you want to deliver it sooner than the deadline. So somebody out there can put in the chat. I know what it's under promise and over deliver. Thank you. Yep. Yes. Thank you. And then connection opportunities. A lot of the business owners out there have such a network and can connect their clients and customers together. And so doesn't that also feed into helping their clients profit?
Absolutely.
So they want those connection opportunities. They maybe some of the businesses that are even watching us, maybe they're putting together some events or something. You're doing it right now. You're having people connect and all that. And some of those are your clients, right? So those are just to me, some of those are the needs. People could put in the chat what some of the needs they think might be. If do we have a minute for them to do that?
Absolutely. Drop them in there. We've had some folks being able to communicate there, and I've been trying to respond back through little bits, and we appreciate Barbara actually coming to Kevin White, so I appreciate that. Make it easy for them to do business with them. And loving the concept of making it easy. And I think sometimes we make it too complicated. It's not intentional. It's not intentional, but it does happen. So as we're looking at that, so okay, we know what their needs are, but is there some maybe simple, because I like that word simple, practical strategies? Because sometimes I just mentioned we make it too complicated. And as I said, it's not intentional, but what can we do? Always following up and keeping them informed of the process and progress. Thank you, Cindy, for bringing that up. That's an absolute valid point. I mean, that's important, because a lot of times, and I know when I was in my corporate career for way too many years, a lot of times they didn't like the answer I was going to give them. They didn't like what I was calling to tell them. But as long as I was honest and upfront and was just transparent with them, we were able to work through the solution. So I love that, Cindy. Always following up and keeping them informed is huge. And I think most people are understanding about that.
Definitely agree. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So what are some simple strategies? There's got to be some simple practical strategies that we can do, that we can implement today with our clients, so that we know that they know how much we truly value them. Could you share a couple of those with us?
Well, so simple and inexpensive.
Okay, we'll add that one. I went practical, but okay, inexpensive. We'll take them. We'll take them.
So I thought maybe simple and inexpensive might be a good ones to talk about. Send a thank you card, like a thank you note. I mean, how many of those? Like, I don't get, how many of those do we get anymore, right? And I know some that I've sent years ago. I used to do this, and they'd actually keep them on the desk just because, hey, this is like a token. I got this thank you note. And of course, my logo and everything was on the front of that card, so it was a little bit. And then maybe like little gifts or something, like even start with $10 gift cards. I mean, it's inexpensive, right? Those who are selling bigger ticket items can send the bigger gifts. But I think the impact is when it's not about a holiday. It's not Christmas. It's not that. It's just because we value you. And it might say, we value you. You know what I mean? Something like that. The periodic check-ins, but this is what I want to say about that. When we're periodically checking in, and to me, we want to ask for that feedback. We really want to go to the core, and we need to be willing to hear whatever they're going to say, because if we're not doing that intentionally, then how do we know they're not talking to somebody else about what they're not telling us? Does that make sense?
It does.
So and then we want to act on it.
Yeah, keyword. We have to do something.
It's actively, listening, checking in, listening, asking for that feedback, and acting on it. And in my opinion, those check-ins really should include maybe 1 to 2 per year from the top decision maker of the company.
Ah, okay.
Yep. And implement a customer loyalty program. Okay.
So what can we do for that?
So what you're doing there is you want them to keep coming back to whatever it is that you have. And so maybe you're sending out, again, like the $10 Starbucks, hey, I see that you've been with us for X, amount of years, or you've been, you've referred, some folks to us. And so we'd like to thank you for that. And so that builds the customer loyalty. And that's the way I see that. HubSpot suggests having a customer advisory board. I like that.
Okay.
Feedback, great way to get innovative ideas.
True. Improvements.
And, I might even have 2 of them.
There you go.
And they're a little different than a focus group, because my understanding of a focus group is kind of, it's a asking like a 3 questions kind of thing to the group. In this case, the customer advisory board is meeting without us, and they're discussing, and then we're getting the results from some of those. And then always personalize or customize those written follow-ups. I think now I'm not talking newsletters, because I think newsletters, very educational value. It's showing people the latest and greatest of what you're doing. But if it's just kind of a reach out, to me, it needs to be that individual, personalized, customized. Even you could use part of a template in it, but you're really customizing it to them. And maybe even before you get on that, do that note, maybe you get on their website, or you get on their LinkedIn or their Facebook, and you're seeing maybe what you can comment about what you just saw. Then now they know you're paying attention to them.
That's true.
They might even feel like, if they feel like, if they feel like they're your only client, which of course that's not true, but if they do, to me, that's a win. That's a big win, right?
Absolutely. And we do value them. And I think sometimes you don't necessarily mean to take things for granted, but I think we do. You end up using, I think we do that even in our family sometimes. We take them for granted. And it's easy to kind of get into a routine. And sometimes that routine doesn't always include making sure they know how much they're valued. And that's exactly what you're bringing into the business world. And
well, and then the other thing, I know a lot of us, when we're talking with clients, they have needs they either don't know they have, perhaps. They have needs that they didn't even know maybe we could help them with, that might not even be related to our product or service. And so, to me, going the extra mile in that customer success is listening for how else can we help them, again, going back to help their clients, help them profit. And so that could be, take example, your company, they're not even, their accounting and whatever and all that isn't even in place or whatever.
A lot of times, yeah.
Right. And so, and then what does that do? That lets us get them connected to people that we know.
Exactly.
And so forth. And so it spins on. So that's what I see. And to me, how much do those things cost? Most of them, nothing.
Exactly.
Time. I get it.
Time. Yeah.
But a huge ROI, wouldn't you say? As a financial professional? Yep. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And as we're thinking about this, we've shared some practical strategies. We kind of know exactly what we're needing. We want to make sure we know that they're valued. But is there some questions that maybe we should be thinking to ourselves about the customer success management process, or just kind of how things are working? What should we be thinking and questioning ourselves about when it comes to this process?
That's a good question, because I think this is a great way to get the engines running. Okay. So first of all, maybe think about, how often am I reaching out to my current clients? I mean, kind of simple, right? Like, how often am I doing this? And then you're going
to. I'm thinking that myself. I'm like, when's the last time I've talked to every single one of them? I do talk to them regularly, but is it every one of them? I don't know that I want to admit that.
Well, I would think everybody on this call, including myself, I mean, come on, it's a tough thing to do, right? I mean, but asking that question to ourselves, then it starts to go, well, how could I, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another one that I thought of because of the impact of COVID.
Okay.
Because either businesses ramped up quickly.
Yeah.
The systems might not have been like in place. Did they get a chance to reach out to their current clients? I mean, what did that look like? And some businesses, they were trying, they're struggling to survive, and they're trying to pivot, and they're spending time on that, right? And so how often could they talk to their clients then, right?
Sure.
So those are two ends of the spectrum. And so maybe think about when was the last time I reached out to past clients to see if circumstances have changed, and now maybe they need our service.
That's true, because things change daily.
because
Hourly.
pivoting, right, might have now they might need your services because of the pivot they made or something like that, right? Or and then have when you're talking with your clients, as I mentioned in the beginning, a great source for referrals. But we need to ask them a lot sometimes, right? We just need to ask.
We just need to ask.
So have you asked your current clients if they know of anyone that your services or products could help? And at the same time, is there any other need for your business that maybe I could help you with?
Okay. Yeah. What are those other needs? That's true. That's true.
So those three questions, and of course there's more, but those three questions to me would really start getting the engines running. And how can I do, maybe I should get a customer advisory board, or maybe I should get somebody to help me reach out to those clients, or whatever that might be. So I hope that helps everybody. I know our time is like done. So
yeah, we're good. Yeah, well, a couple minutes, we'll wrap everything up. So this has been a great conversation. I want to thank each and every one of you for being willing to join us and take some time out today and share some of this wisdom. And Kim, I'm just so grateful and honored that you chose to join and spend some time with us today, because I think it's so important to really be thinking about this. And you bring a different light to this, and it's just something that we need to be thinking about. And sometimes they're tough, but you always have such a great way of presenting it and making us think and making us go up a little bit higher in our game, which is exactly what we're all trying to do. So I love partnering with folks that help me to do that and help me to grow and move forward. And we appreciate that. And we thank you, Barbara and Cindy and Melinda and Lindsay. And I'm not sure if I got them all, but those are the ones on my screen as I'm going through. We so appreciate that. Don't forget to put your information into the chat there, just your email information. We'll make
name and
sure
email.
that you put your name and your email in there, and we will be more than grateful. Kim will get you out this lovely bullet point with those quotes, so we didn't have to type them all, and that we could actually enjoy. And Lindsay, yes, fantastic questions, and really thinking about that. It's always a practical insight, and clients are our lifeblood. Without our clients, we're not going to be in business very long. So I'm just so grateful for that. I dropped Kim's information in there one more time, so you have her contact information. Reach out. She is a wealth of knowledge. She is the connector with folks. Absolutely. And we'll grab these. We'll make sure the bullet points get over to you in the little synopsis for you. So we thank you guys so much for joining us. Remember, we are here every Wednesday at 11:30. And just as a quick reminder, our second Wednesday of every month is our special. We branch it out, and it's actually a virtual lunch and learn where we do a little bit of networking and I do some training. In July, it's going to be Canva. So we're going to be talking about some Canvas. I get into some technical training, if you want to call it that. We bring it down and we make Canva useful for you. So typically I'll give you a couple little pointers, and then whoever has joined me on our lunch and learn, not only do you get to network, but we learn to figure out how to make Canva work better for you. And those are always our second Wednesday of every month. So keep that in mind, the second Wednesday. Yep.
Since I can't type in the chat, as you know, so could you just thank everybody? Thank you for their wonderful comments.
Absolutely.
Would you mind doing that for me, because I can't type it in?
Not a problem. Yep, I got you covered on there, and we do appreciate it. As I said, I do encourage folks, please come back, please share. Our goal is very simple, and Kim and I have that aligned together, where we just want to support everyone and kind of get that and be that support structure for folks, because we know that it's so important that when we work it together, we all rise. And that's what we're trying to do. Kim, is there any last few minutes here? If you want to just take a minute or so and wrap up anything else that I may have missed. I did get the thank you out there. Your information's out there.
Oh, thank you, everyone, from Kim. Okay, so if you can, okay, if you say it from Kim, because it didn't come from. So yeah, I just so appreciate everybody that was live on this, and then the ones who are are watching the video. Just was a great love sharing the topic. And I actually, as I was preparing for the topic, I learned some things myself. So just was glad to share those all with you. And please feel free to reach out to me. I will get the recap to you. You should get that within, I'd say, 24 hours.
Perfect.
And if I can, and I love to help businesses accelerate their growth. So if somebody wants to have a chat, I'd be glad to do that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and we just appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week right here on It's Time to Excel. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.